A lot of it just comes down to the endorsement. If Tom Nickley is endorsing Lars in his program, that's all I need. Because if my goal is to be like Tom and go from selling 200 homes a year to 200 homes a month, why would I go out and try to recreate the wheel, go try to figure it out on my own? Let's go to how Tom did it. And Tom said, Lars was my guy. So a little bit about myself. I run a team in Orlando, Florida. I've been licensed since 2010, and I did not sell a lot of homes between 2010 and 2014. In 2014, I joined Keller Williams in Southeast Orlando, and honestly, that changed my life. I was with Keller Williams for 7 years, learned a lot of really just how to run a business and how to be a realtor, which I didn't learn before, and literally was able to retire my wife from what she was doing to what she's doing now, and she works with me. 2015 is kind of the baseline. We sold 15 homes for $3 million, and then last year we sold about 175, 180 homes for $95 million in what was supposed to be a slow market in 2023. I just happened to be connecting with some of the top agents in America who just happened to live in Orlando. And I would ask them about their systems. And these are teams with like 60, 70, 80 agents. They just kept saying the name Lars. And so I kept hearing this name. And finally, I was on a panel. Actually, I was hosting the panel with two of the top agents in the country, Tom Nickley and Veronica Figueroa, and they both kept mentioning Lars. I looked over to my wife and I said, write that name down. We're calling him tomorrow. I called Lars, shared with him, our business model and what we perceived as our strengths and our weaknesses. He told me what he perceived as our strengths and weaknesses. Paired us up with our coach, Greg, who runs a pretty big team up in Michigan, has really been able to help us identify things in our business that's lacking. And I told Greg very upfront, we're very slow to implement, kind of how we've just always been. We're very methodical, but slowly, as I've seen us in the program for 9 months now, 10 months now, I've been able to see that, there's things that we're implementing into our business that came directly from the $1 Million Agent Method and from Greg's coaching. I believe as we continue to grow our team, we're going to have the systems in place to make us better for the future, propel us forward into 2025 and beyond. The one thing I like about working with Greg versus my previous coaches, Greg's in the trenches. He's running a team. He is a coach, but he's not just a coach just to coach. He's a coach who just happens to be a full-time producing team agent, team leader. And that's what I love about Greg. I've talked to Greg about literally almost everything. We've talked about, do we continue to grow the team? Do we just make it me and my wife? Do we just make it me solo? We've talked about production, money. He's selling 400 homes a year. Our goal is 200 homes a year. And last year we hit like 175, 180. The goal hasn't changed. The goal is still 200, but I have someone that I can talk to who can guide me on my path to one day get to 200 and maybe beyond. He's able to pull from his experience. He's able to pull from what's worked and what has not worked with his team. And not everything that works in Michigan is going to work in Florida. I've got a different dynamic. The community that I live in, there's 1,000 people moving to my area every week. So there's some things that don't translate from there to here, but listening to that and then finding a way for me to apply it into my business is what I like. If you hear someone like a Tom Nickley, who they're selling 200 homes a month, a Veronica Figueroa who's selling 200 homes a month, and they live within a 10, 15 minute drive of where I live, and they say Lars and his team, they're fabulous at what they do. And then I went through the initial consultation and Lars said, hey, this is what the program looks like. This is the amount and all that. I said, yeah, we'll think about it. But under the table, I'm like, where do we sign? Lars' faith-based component was also a huge draw for both my wife and I, because we're Christian as well. And so to be able to have those conversations, non-business related, about our faith and how our faith rolls into our business, that was a big deal as well. We were already hooked. That was just the bonus and the cherry. Have a 20, 30-minute conversation with Lars and the team, because if your goal is to get better, to put the systems in place to treat your business like a business, the cost is minimal because you're going to make up for it on the end. Just take the first step. At the end of the day, you're going to be able to 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the cost of the program.